James Jean hadn't worn jeans in 15 years. As the CEO of Tech Vision Enterprises, his daily uniform consisted of suits that cost more than an entry-level employee made in a month. But today, wearing faded Levi's and a worn navy hoodie, he looked like any other new hire walking into the company's customer service center. It was part of his annual Undercover initiative, a practice he began 5 years earlier to stay connected with the people who kept his company running. Usually, these Undercover weeks reveal predictable issues, outdated systems, cranky supervisors, or inefficient workflows. But that October morning, James discovered something that shook him to his core. He arrived before dawn, eager to maintain his disguise as an enthusiastic trainee. The parking lot was nearly empty, except for a few cars from the overnight shift. Then movement caught his eye, a faint sound, a baby's cry. Behind a recycling bin sat an old silver Honda Civic, its windows fogged. Inside, a young woman gently rocked an infant. She wasn't a stranger. James recognized her from the employee files he'd studied. Sarah Martinez, a customer service representative who joined 8 months ago. He watched as she carefully changed the baby's diaper, used a portable warmer to heat a bottle, and transformed the cramped back seat into a nursery. Her movements were practiced. This wasn't a one-night emergency. This was her life. When the baby settled, Sarah emerged in the car carrying a diaper bag, a briefcase, and the infant in a carrier. She walked briskly toward the side entrance, home to the company's daycare center, one of the benefits James himself had introduced years earlier. From a discreet distance, he watched her drop the baby off, smiling warmly to the daycare worker. No one would have guessed she had spent the night in her car. Throughout the day, Jim Carter, as he was known in disguise, sat beside her. Sarah was efficient, cheerful, and patient with customers who were anything but. While others complained, she encouraged. She volunteered for extra shifts and used her breaks to study coding tutorials online, hoping to move into technical support one day. Tech Vision gave me a chance when no one else would, she told him one evening. Single mom, no degree. They saw my potential, not my problems. That means something. James felt a pang of guilt. Here was an employee who embodied everything his company claimed to value, yet she was sleeping in a parking lot. That night, instead of driving home to his penthouse, James parked across from Sarah's car, through the rain-streaked glass. He watched her tuck her baby in, set up a small fan for ventilation, and cover the windows with shades for privacy. She moved like someone who had done this 100 times. Something inside him shifted. This wasn't a problem HR could solve with a memo. He needed to understand her loyalty, her values, and whether she believed in Tech Vision as deeply as he wanted every employee to. Pulling out his phone, he made a call. "Janet," he said quietly to his assistant, "I need to set something up. It's confidential." 3 days later, during lunch hour, a black Tesla rolled into the parking lot. Out stepped Regina Walsh, posing as a recruiter from rival company Innovate Corp. In reality, she was James's assistant, carefully briefed for a delicate test. Sarah had just finished feeding her 6-month-old daughter, Emma, at the daycare when Regina intercepted her. The recruiter's immaculate Armani suit contrasted sharply with Sarah's modest company uniform. "Sarah Martinez, I have a proposition that might interest you." Inside a small conference room, Regina laid out a glossy folder. "Innovate Corp has been monitoring your performance. Your customer satisfaction scores, your leadership under pressure, impressive. We'd like to offer you a position." Sarah hesitated, flipping open the folder. Her breath caught. $75,000 annual salary. Full benefits. 3 months of paid rent in a corporate apartment. "There must be some mistake," Sarah whispered. "No mistake," Regina said smoothly. "We value talent over credentials. And you, Sarah, are talented." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. It was everything she'd ever wanted. Stability, safety, a home for Emma. But then came the catch. "There's one condition," Regina said, lowering her voice. "You need to resign from Tech Vision today and start tomorrow. We need someone with inside experience from your current systems." The implication was clear. They wanted company information. From behind a one-way mirror, James watched, heart pounding. This was the moment. Would Sarah betray her employer for comfort? Sarah stared at the contract, her fingers trembling. $75,000 a year. A warm home. Medical coverage for Emma. It all seemed like salvation, but something felt wrong. Would your daycare accept infants under 12 months? She asked suddenly. Regina blinked, unprepared. We could recommend partners. Sarah's expression hardened. She thought of the Tech Vision daycare staff, who slipped her extra diapers, of her co-workers who help her study, of Jim, who always saved her coffee in the morning. She pushed the folder back. Thank you for the offer, but I'll have to decline. Regina raised an eyebrow. You're sure? Think carefully. This kind of opportunity doesn't come twice. I'm sure, Sarah said, her voice steady. Tech Vision gave me a chance when I had nothing. I won't walk out on them like this. As she left the room, James exhaled deeply. She'd passed. But the true test wasn't over. That night, Sarah sat in her car, Emma asleep in her lap, the rain tapping softly against the windshield. She couldn't stop thinking about the offer. $75,000. A real home. A future. She opened her banking app. $47.81. Winter was coming. Her laptop glowed faintly in the dark as she made a list, pros and cons. Every reason to say yes battled with one. It's wrong. Then a message pinged. Jim, you forgot your training manual. Don't worry. I left it in your drawer. See you tomorrow. Smiley face. A simple note, but it broke something in her. At Tech Vision, she wasn't just a number. She was seen. Lightning flashed. Emma stirred. Sarah whispered. Once upon a time, there was a princess who didn't live in a castle, but she had something better, integrity. She opened her email, typed a polite rejection to Regina Walsh, and hit send. Miles away, James saw the notification on his phone. She had refused the bait. He smiled. Phase 2, he texted. Proceed tomorrow. The next morning, Sarah arrived at her desk to find an unexpected email from HR. Urgent. Please report to Executive Suite 1500 immediately. Her stomach knotted. Had someone discovered she was living in the parking lot? Or had her rejection of Innovate Corp's offer somehow leaked? The elevator ride to the 15th floor felt endless. The moment the door slid open, she stepped into a world she'd only seen in company newsletters. Glass walls, city views, polished chrome. Waiting for her was Regina Walsh, dressed not as a rival recruiter, but in Tech Vision's own executive colors. A familiar ID badge hung from her blazer. Before Sarah could speak, Regina smiled gently. Right this way, Ms. Martinez. She led her into a conference room where a single man sat at the head of the table. The man from the lobby portrait, the CEO himself. Sarah froze. Mr. Jean, she whispered. He stood, smiling. Or, as you know me, Jim. Her eyes widened. You were? Undercover, he finished, nodding. I've been working beside you these past weeks. Sarah sank into a chair, speechless. James continued softly. I owe you an apology for the deception, but I needed to know whether Tech Vision truly lives its values, through the people who believe in it. You showed me the answer. He slid a folder across the table, the company logo embossed in silver. Before you open that, you should know what I saw, he said. A mother arriving before sunrise, sleeping in her car, yet performing every duty with grace. A woman who could have chosen the easy way, but instead chose integrity. Sarah's hands trembled as she opened the folder. At the top, her name, Sarah Martinez. Beneath it, her new position, Director of Customer Experience Innovation. Her jaw fell open. This isn't charity, James said firmly. It's recognition. The role comes with full benefits, executive housing, and a salary triple your current pay, plus stock options. Tears blurred the text, but it was a handwritten note at the bottom that broke her composure, for showing us what Tech Vision truly stands for. A knock at the door. The facilities manager entered, holding a small set of keys. Your new office is ready, Ms. Martinez, he said, and your residence at Tech Vision Towers is prepared for move-in today. Sarah stared at the keys, still in disbelief. Why go through the test? She asked quietly. Why not just help? James leaned forward. Because I don't just need skilled employees. I need leaders who hold their integrity even when no one's watching. You prove that. Now I want you to help me build something bigger. He smiled. Your first assignment. Design a company-wide program to support employees in crisis. You start now. We have a board meeting in an hour. Sarah stood, straightening her worn uniform. Thank you, Mr. Jean. James, he corrected gently. And, Sarah, you've never let us down. That afternoon, Sarah unlocked the door to her new apartment. The executive suite was bright, modern, and impossibly large compared to cramped Civic she called home. She set down her only 2 suitcases and lifted baby Emma, whispering, Welcome home. Inside the nursery, painted soft mint green, a crib waited beside a plush rocking chair. On the wall hung a mobile of tiny silver stars and moons, a quiet nod to all the nights they'd spent staring through car windows. Within hours, movers finished bringing what little she owned. The financial advisor helped her open investment accounts. The concierge scheduled Emma's medical checkups. The daycare downstairs had a slot for her starting the next morning. By sunset, mother and daughter sat in the living room, watching the skyline burn gold. For the first time in years, Sarah exhaled without fear. Later, a knock at the door revealed Regina, no longer playing a role, but serving as Sarah's mentor. First day as an executive deserves a toast, she said, holding up 2 glasses. Over wine, Regina briefed her on expectations and goals. James doesn't do anything halfway, she said. When he believes in someone, he clears every obstacle, but he also expects results. Sarah smiled, her mind already spinning with ideas. Customer service needs tighter integration with technical support and more flexible training for parents. You're already thinking like leadership, Regina said, grinning. And James asked me to give you this. Another folder. Inside, the blueprint for a new initiative, the Second Chance program. He wants you to lead it, Regina said. It'll provide housing, childcare, and financial counseling for employees in crisis. People who just need a hand up. Your experience makes you perfect for it. Sarah's eyes filled again. The program she'd wished existed for her would now exist because of her. That night, after putting Emma to sleep in her new crib, Sarah stood at the window overlooking the city. Down below, she could see the same parking lot where she'd once lived. Only now it gleamed under the lights, a symbol of how far they'd come. 5 years later, the conference hall buzzed as Vice President Sarah Martinez stepped on stage at TechVision's annual shareholders meeting. Behind her, a screen displayed bold numbers and brighter faces. In the past 5 years, she announced, the Second Chance program has helped over 300 employees rebuild their lives. 94% remain with the company. 68% have been promoted. The audience applauded as images cycled. A single father turned IT manager, a veteran now leading global client relations, a domestic violence survivor promoted to regional sales director. What the slides didn't show was how Sarah personally met each participant, sharing her story to prove that resilience and integrity could rewrite any fate. Afterward, James approached, smiling. His hair was grayer, but his pride was unmistakable. Remember when you hid your situation from everyone? Sarah laughed, touching the VP badge on her lapel. Sometimes I walk by that old parking spot just to remind myself. At that moment, a child's voice interrupted. Mom! 6-year-old Emma, still in her rumpled school uniform, ran into the room, followed by Marcus, Sarah's husband and TechVision's legal counsel. Ready for your big surprise? James asked. Together they rode the elevator to the newly finished top floor. The doors opened to reveal a space unlike any other in corporate America. Emergency housing units, a 24-hour childcare center, and a counseling hub. Welcome to the Martinez Center for Employee Empowerment, James announced, unveiling the plaque. Sarah gasped. You named it after me? After your example, he corrected. This center isn't just about aid. It's about changing how companies care for their people. And it all started because one woman chose integrity over convenience. The center's most innovative feature, the Pay It Forward program, required every person help to later mentor another in need, ensuring a cycle of compassion and accountability. That night, as Sarah tucked them into bed in their penthouse apartment, the little girl whispered, "Tell me the car story again, Mom." Sarah smiled, settling beside her. Once upon a time, there was a mommy and her baby who had nothing but a car and a dream. They thought they were alone, but really it was just the beginning of something bigger. And then the nice man bringing you coffee turned out to be the king of the company. Emma giggled. "That's right," Sarah said, laughing softly. But the real magic wasn't his crown. It was learning that keeping your values matters more than taking the easy path. When Emma drifted asleep, Sarah stood by the window once more. On her desk lay a new folder, her nomination for CEO. James would retire next year, and he'd already made clear who he trusted to lead. Her phone buzzed. New family just arrived at the Martinez Center. Could use a friendly face. She grabbed her coat before the message finished loading. As the elevator descended, her reflection in the chrome doors revealed not the frightened young mother she once was, but a leader shaped by empathy. Walking through the bright atrium of the center that bore her name, she paused by the engraved words beneath the plaque, "Because everyone deserves a second chance." The story of the undercover CEO and the loyal employee had become company legend. But for Sarah Martinez, it was never about legend. It was proof that the hardest tests in life often come disguised as impossible choices, and that the greatest rewards aren't what you gain, but what you refuse to lose. Your integrity,